Okay, so updates for the end of the year. So this is the time of year. Well, I spend most of time planning for activities of next year. I mentioned last call that now we have a bunch of different administration things that we need to improve, processes to be more efficient in how we handle administrative stuff, because, well, we are not such a small team anymore, and we need to have better processes or better operations in some areas. So most of my time this week have been thinking and planning for that. I wanted to do a presentation today with a little roundup of the year. I didn't have enough time to finish it, but and next week probably everyone is going to be on vacation, so maybe it's not really worth it. So I'm going to probably do it in the first call of the new year. So to give you a bit of where we are with different elements, like core development, V2, as you know, has been making progress. I already mentioned that we plan to do, a demo of the third build in January. So we are still planning to do that. So that. Then we have been working on different products. As you know, Linguo is getting way better. You can see already lots of translations there that you can pick now. So we know that the platform is not it's not great. I mean, it was developed almost, I guess, 2 years ago. And there's lots of improvement opportunities to be done there. But before spending resources in improving Linguo, we are kind of wanting to test if the model works, right? If Linguo actually solves a problem, if it can be used by people, if people enjoy it. And then with some validation of that, then yes, I mean, we can, I would say at this point, we should actually build it again from scratch. And as you know, Linguo started as a translation platform, but it's like a microtasking kind of a platform that could be used for lots of different microtasks. But for now, we're just wanting to see if this model works, and then yeah, maybe we will improve it. Okay, so we have that. We have maybe I will let William short. Maybe you can, since it's maybe last call of the year, you can give a longer explanation of the research on last year and what's coming up next.
Yeah. I mean, we've done a fair number of things. So I did a lot of research on griefing factors and griefing in different contexts to try to get some general framework for how one should think about griefing and how one can appropriately analyze it, and then it can be applied to griefs in Kleros. So we have some description of griefs on Kleros in the yellow paper, delay, the sort of obvious delay grief where you do frivolous appeals. There's also a certain griefs on the crowdfunding mechanism. So I thought about those, but then also sort of pulled back and tried to come up with a model of how griefs change the equilibria of cryptoeconomic games. So I gave a talk about that at ETH Dubai, and I have an academic paper on that was coming out at some point. Then I continued to do a lot of work on sort of social choice theory type things related to what the best voting incentive systems are for a system like Kleros. When jurors are deciding between non-binary cases that involve lots of different choices and can be quite subtle, how can you design a voting and incentive system that doesn't encourage vote splitting or strategic voting or sort of classic social choice theory kind of pathological phenomena. So that's been ongoing work we've been doing for years, but continuing to think about things like that. I have a paper that's coming that's we've been working on related to impossibility theorems in that setting. So what's kind of what pathologies are unavoidable, which informs what you can try to do and what one can hope for is what is achievable. And then how we what are the sort of trade-offs we make within different incentive systems within those limits. The new big exciting thing that is new this year was a lot of research on soulbound tokens. So the Decentralized Society paper by Glenn Weil and Olhaver and Buterin came out in the spring, which they envision this sort of ecosystem of soulbound tokens, which, among other things, they talk about being used to weight funding to quadratic funding distributions, weight contributions to quadratic funding. And this has inspired me and some of our research, and to ask, okay, like what they want is to have quadratic funding that kind of picks out groups that have different points of view and different experiences, different backgrounds, and you pick them out based on the fact that they have different collections of soulbound tokens, and you give them more voice, because then you're going to have funding contributions. You're going to be like weighting more funding contributions from like different diverse groups of people, and there's like various reasons to believe that gives you kind of better democratic input to get better grants. But like Kleros could do something similar, where you have you kind of reweight juror selection, so that you try to give higher odds of being drawn to jurors that again have kind of like rare soulbound tokens, or kind of distinct and different experiences as represented by their soulbound tokens, and give them a higher chance of being drawn. And particularly, in a system like Kleros, where you have juries that are thinking about a case, often communicating on Telegram and having some kind of like form of rudimentary deliberation. There's a lot of evidence that shows that diverse groups of people have come to better decisions. So it's useful for improving the decision-making quality of Kleros, potentially at least, to try to draw groups of people that are more diverse like this, have different experiences and different backgrounds. And then the like hard questions there are, okay, how can you design that system in a way that you weight people like this that is not exploitable? Like, what kind of weighting functions are compatible with the existing cryptoeconomic incentives of Kleros? So we've been doing a lot of work on that. That is still ongoing. We don't have a perfect weighting system yet, but like we're thinking about kind of like what the constraints are there and what are the different possibilities, and that will continue on into next year.
Awesome, thank you. And so I'm excited about this. There is this very well-known theorem from collective intelligence called the Hong and Page theorem that says that the more diverse the group of people that makes a decision, the higher quality of that decision. So, as you know, in Kleros, we have typically never known who are these persons, because, as you know, they are just Ethereum accounts. So this also has a good thing, which is that, and this is something that I get asked a lot by professionals coming from the field of law and arbitration. How do you make sure that the panel is diverse? Because this is a problem in arbitration. Particularly, there is this idea that all the white men tend to be overrepresented in arbitration panels, and so there is a bunch of initiatives in the world of arbitration to try to bring more, or women, or other minorities into panels to have a better representation and reach better decisions in the end. And so this SBT idea is, maybe a great way to have some of this into Kleros. So we are researching, and we don't know where it's going. But we will certainly learn a lot about this. And maybe you want to mention, William, again, the conference in Berkeley next month.
Yeah, so there's this conference in Berkeley in January called Plurality, which is being organized by sort of the circle of people around Glenn Weil, that I'm going to be briefly speaking at. I have a 5-minute lightning talk that I'm still preparing. I have to send them a draft of my talk, and I have it down to 6 minutes, so I need to crunch a little more. But like I'm looking forward to speaking there and talking to those people. I think like the innovation minister from Taiwan is going to be there. I think Vitalik's going to be there. It's like a lot of high-level sort of people that have interesting ideas around how we can make just like add social layers to blockchains so that we have applications that are beyond just these sort of like super financialized applications that we currently have. And I'm I expect very interesting discussions there.
Yeah, I mean, and we at Kleros are very proud to be sponsors of the conference. I mean, this is going to be a really, really cool place to be. And, there's going to be Audrey Tang, I think, Innovation Minister of Taiwan. Then I think Vitalik is going to be there. Of course, Glenn Wild is the president of this association. And, well, many more very high-level people from, well, the environment of radical markets, let's say. So, yeah, that's a really cool thing going on. And also part of the team just was in Australia about, this RMIT conference, Governing Web3 conference that is organized by this university called RMIT, which is one of the first universities that started researching crypto economics. So Clement was there giving a game theory workshop. We had Jamilia there and other team members. I think it was, Abir was there as well. He's also based in Hong Kong, so that's closer to him. Okay, so we had that from the point of view of research. And by the way, so since we were mentioning Glenn Wild, so I think that the podcast episode with Glenn Wild comes out today, right, Jim?
Yes, yes. After the call, I'll post a link to the episode. It's a very interesting one, and I'm very excited about this conference and the ideas that Glenn Wild have been promoting, and it has everything to do with with governance and making like good decisions in public,
Cool. Okay, so we have that. Well, we'll review the idea. B2, we already discussed a bit of products. Some of the things we're working on for next year is revamp a bunch of our products. I already mentioned Linguo. Curate is going to have a we're internally working to better define where we should focus it and how we should develop it moving forward, because this is a really powerful tool and we can have much more impact. Then, of course, Susi or Kleros Moderate, a content moderation tool for Telegram and soon also for Discord is almost ready for prime time. I think in the coming weeks, we are going to push the final updates. And then this is kind of converging into I would call it a suite of tools for governing, DAOs. We have over time developed these different technologies that cover different aspects of DAO governance from different crypto economic primitives. And for next year, one of the things that we will try to do much more is how to turn this into products that can be offered to DAOs to solve, let's say, all of their governance needs. For example, you are building a DAO about XYZ. So, okay, come to Kleros and we can offer you, ID verification for your people. You have proof of humanity. You want some curation for your whatever. So we have curate. Then you need content moderation for your DAO. Well, we have a content moderation. Then we have the governor. So all of these suites that are now kind of a bit scattered around, we are going to productize them way better and offer them with a much more compelling value proposition. And this is going to come more or less at the same time of V2. So this is one of also the priorities that we have for next year. Improving the commercial offering of our products. And as you know, and you have seen Wagner presentation, we have already more than 100 partnerships and also counting way more. So and this better way to offer our products is going to be a great push into that. So that's also one of the things that we are working quite, strongly internally. Maybe, Jim, I don't know if there is a proof of humanity update to share.
No, we are just we just need to publish our draft of the constitution and approve it, and then we will be ready to continue with the forking process. But not many other news. Except that if you, just in case, if you get blocked from the other proof of humanity groups, we just want to say that you are welcome to our group. Yes, but yes, that's basically it. I'll share the link of the Guambian video about integrations that shows how we measure integrations and a little bit on how Guambian is coordinating the business development team on how to pursue more integrations for 2023. I believe it's very interesting. Like there's been a lot of progress that maybe it's not noticeable because there are not like an increase in disputes, but there is an increase in adoption in this manner. I believe you know how to explain how we measure that, right, Federico?
Yeah, I mean, we have two main metrics that we use to measure progress. One is, of course, the amount of disputes, and more disputes creates more engagement by jurors, more fees of arbitration to be earned, and all that. But not just that. Arbitration system produces good results for customers, even if there are no disputes, because the fact that the system is working prevents people from behaving maliciously. So that's how legal systems work, by securing property rights, even if there is not a dispute. So one other thing is that we have partners which are like securing lots of value with Kleros, but those that value doesn't typically go to a dispute. In kind of insurance use cases, there is a Kleros arbitration, which is rarely used, but it is still, even if it's not used, it's still securing value. So this is the metric that we call like total value secured by Kleros. So this are the two main metrics that we try to optimize in our work. So one of the important things that we are going to have for next year is we want to have more like community involvement in everything about business development. Now we have a team of business developers that is led by Guamian that has been growing quite fast. But so it doesn't become a bottleneck. We want to have a system that can incentivize community members to help with this. I mean, we are still figuring out what is the best way to do it and how the incentive system should work. But that's one of the goals. And generally speaking, we also want more community involvement in all of the different activities of Kleros. So that's one of the things that are, in going into our planning into these last weeks of the year, and some stuff that we want to start executing on in 2023. And I guess that's it for today. As I mentioned, I will make a presentation more organized with what we can expect for next year. Next week, we probably are not going to have the community call because everyone is vacation. But we will probably do this the presentation maybe in the first call of January. And I guess that's it for today. So guys, Merry Christmas to whoever celebrates Christmas, Happy Hanukkah to people that celebrate Hanukkah, and all of the rest. And happy holidays.